I'm Luckett of SailboatsToGo. I'm going to show you how we put together the Any Kayak sail kit. So let's do the pre-assembly steps. There's some steps that you'll do when you first set up the rig, and you'll never repeat them. Once they're done, they're done. So in the bag of small parts, you have these U-bolts with star knobs and washers, and a set of pre-assembly instructions. The way you know right side up from upside down is this slot should be down. So remember, we're going to orient the slot down, and we got to take this out and put it around so the spring button is up. And then we'll take a U-bolt out of the bag. And it goes in from the top. You may have to pull the inner section out a little bit so that it's not blocking the holes. And then a washer on each leg of the U-bolt. A star knob on each leg of the U-bolt. And one of these little vinyl end caps to give it a finished look and protect the threaded ends and make it all safe and nice and neat. Now, when you take the rig apart and put it together, when you're going to sail and when you finish sailing, you don't take this apart again. You just loosen it a little bit, and the parts can then slide apart. And that's true throughout the rig, that you should never have to disassemble a U-bolt. Okay, now we're going to put the leeboard mounts onto the side rail. And you don't need these caps, but save them in case you lose a cap somewhere else on the rig. Okay, so we need to loosen this quite a bit. So this cross piece of the U-bolt is going to rest in the slot. Let's take this inner piece out for now. Okay, now it's in the slot. And what that does, in addition to mounting the leeboard mount, it creates a clamp because it's in that slot. The slot helps to hold it straight, but also it locks the telescoping action of the telescoping side rail. So I've got to loosen this actually a little bit in order to even get that in. Okay, now it's in. So, see, I can lock that telescoping action by tightening these star knobs. Now it's fixed length. Loosen these a little, and it'll slide right in. So do the same thing on the other one. Make sure you end up with one leeboard pointing this way and one leeboard pointing that way. These are the straps that come with the kit. You'll have 3 different lengths. So the long ones are what holds the crossbars to the boat, and that's the step that we're up to right now. And so I've just pulled out the 2 long ones. We're going to do an inflatable kayak first. So we take this strap and we put it right underneath the boat. So it's going to go under the boat, over the front crossbar, and then back under the boat. And buckle to itself after going over the front crossbar on the other side. The strap end goes in through the bottom of the buckle so that when there's tension on the strap, it'll be digging those teeth into the strap to prevent it from slipping. And these straps hold very well. You can trust them. cinch that up. Now the strap is longer than it needs to be, so at a later time take a pair of scissors, trim that off, and then take a match or a cigarette lighter and just melt the cut end just a little bit. And be careful, it's going to stay real hot longer than you expect. But all you're doing is just melting the threads together so it doesn't unravel. Now we're going to do the same thing with the rear crossbar. Okay, so that's how the straps are going to work. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to loosen that one and take it off here in a minute, but we'll leave it buckled so that we can put it back on. Now we'll do the side rails. I got the first two sections that telescope together. Just slide that over the end of the front crossbar, and it clamps on by tightening up the star knobs. And I'm not going to do that real tight now. Please do remember to go back and do a final tightening when you're all set. And here's the rear section, what we call the side rail extension. And we've got to slide the end of the rear crossbar right off and put this through the U-bolt. Okay, and the way we've got this set, by the way, we're going to have the star knobs on top and the side rail is going to sit on top of the rear crossbar. It would be fine if it works better for your kayak to turn this U-bolt around like we did on the front one, so that the star knobs are underneath and the side rail is hanging underneath. That's your choice. Okay. And now we can join them. Slide them together, and the spring button engages the hole. And now we can adjust the length, put that rear crossbar where we want it, and tighten these star knobs to lock the telescoping action. Now we'll do the same thing on the other side. So that's your basic rectangle frame, and now just adjust everything so that it looks pretty much symmetrical, parallel, and all around good. And then redo this strap on the rear crossbar. Now I'm going to put the mast step on the front crossbar. Very quick and easy. And then we have two more straps to do back here. We want to put these straps on in order to arrest any side-to-side movement. So what we're going to do is sneak a strap between the leg of the U-bolt and the rear crossbar, just like that. And then we're going to use this strap on the other side like a post, like an anchor point. We're going to go around it, and that's our anchor point on the other side. And then we tighten that up. So that'll keep it from shifting to the right, and then when we do the same thing on that side, it'll keep it from shifting to the left. And we'll be able to tighten these two straps and the tension of one will be balanced by the tension on the other. This time I'm going to go in front. And again, I'm going around the strap that goes under the boat, just using that as a post or an anchor point. And now we've got the side-to-side motion nicely arrested. Make sure these U-bolts are tightened up before you start tightening those straps, or it'll just slide towards you. Okay. So that's all the strapping. We've got the frame completely installed on the kayak. Obviously the lee boards mount to the lee board mounts. So that's going to go just right there with this bolt going into it. And we have an option, by the way, costs about 20 bucks more, for snap apart lee board mounts, so that you can just leave this bolt always in this end and it snaps apart here in the middle, and this part stays on the lee board. So that's a cool option you might want to consider when you're ordering. Saves you the couple seconds to twist, 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 twist. So 3 washers here. These 2 go immediately onto the bolt. Then it goes through the lee board. And make sure this nut is facing away from your boat. And then put this 3rd one on. And the only purpose of this 3rd one is so that you can leave the bolt in the lee board when you're putting it away, and the bolt won't get lost. So then you just screw this in here and you can tighten that right up. You can tighten this as much as you want with your hand, not with tools, but it's actually not important for sailing performance to hold these straight down. If they get swept back by the water rushing by, they hold just as well. They still do their job just as well. And it's nice that they're able to kick up when you sail into a beach, or when you sail over a rock that you didn't know was there. They won't stop you dead, they'll just kick up out of the way. There's separate video and separate instructions for how to put the sail on the spars. So I encourage you to follow those instructions and watch that video. The video link URL is right at the beginning of the instruction sheet, labeled Initial Sail Assembly Instructions. But that's also a one-time operation. You put the sail on the spars once, it stays on the spars, and then you fold them up together just like this has been done. So the spars are in 3 sections inside the sail sleeves, and I'm just sliding the joints together. There's a shock cord running down the middle of the tube that keeps them organized. And put the corner string in through the mouth of that clam cleat and pull it a little tight, making sure first that the one down at the other end, that has to be secured first, and it is left secured even when folded. So, but you want to make sure the sail is far enough forward on the spars that it unfolds properly. And I always put a loose knot in the end here, just in case this corner string came out of the jaws. That would keep the string from going all the way out. Now we're ready to raise the sail. I have threaded the halyard line through the top eye of the mast ahead of time. This mast is very light. I easily handle it with one hand. So I'm going through the mast slide and into the mast step. The mast step is that socket on the front crossbar. And then I just pull down on the halyard. Oh, it's twisted. Okay, pull down on the halyard. It slides through that eye and raises up the sail. Anytime you raise a sail, think about the wind direction ahead of time, because that sail is going to act like a weather vane, and you don't want that hitting somebody or something when it catches the wind and points into the wind. So I've got the halyard tight. I'm going to go once all the way around the front crossbar. I'm going to fold the rope over. That's called a bite when you fold a rope like that. And I'm going to make the knot on that bite. And it's going to be a double half hitch knot. So it's called a double half hitch on a bite. B-I-G-H-T. Double half hitch is about the easiest knot to tie. Works well in a wide variety of situations. If you want help with tying that knot, just Google double half hitch and you'll find lots of folks who have posted nice explanations of how to tie one. Alright, let's rig the sheet. I have put one of the short straps through the rope fitting at the sail cutout. If you have a very long boat, you have the option of doing it down here at the end of the boom, but I've done it here at the middle. And then you can, this is the sheet line, you can just tie it right into that strap loop if you like. In fact, you could do away with the strap if that's the way you're going to rig the sheet, and just tie the sheet right into the rope fitting here. And that is the way you would do it. You'd tie it directly. If you put the rope fitting down at the end of the boom, then you're just going to have a direct pull. But you have the option, if you put it in the middle, of using that strap loop like a pulley. You see how easily that rope slides through there? And you get a 2-to-1 mechanical advantage by anchoring one end of the sheet line to the boat. This boat happens to have a D-ring right in the right spot, and then it's sliding through there, and this line goes to my hand. And so, because that's sliding through what is effectively a pulley, I'm getting a 2-to-1 mechanical advantage. You don't need that if you sheet from the end of the boom, because the leverage of the boom gives you that same amount of mechanical advantage. This little line at the front of the boom is called the downhaul, and it's not real important, but here's how it works. It goes from the front of the boom, clips onto that ring at the front of the mast step, and then you can adjust it tight with that slider. Let's talk about the initial assembly of the oar pin to the steering oar. The oar pin, this little dealie here, goes on the handle section of the steering oar, and a short strap is provided for you to put inside the clamping part. And just get that right down in there out of the way so that you can slide this onto the the handle section of the oar. And also, I want to talk about this little nut for a second. Make sure that that nut is at least tight enough to engage the nylon ring at the outer rim of the nut. That nylon ring provides friction so the nut can't fall off. And you can adjust how tight this pivot bolt is. I would adjust this one a little tighter to take some of the play out of the pin. So put this initially, say about a foot or 14 inches up from the end of the handle section, and then you're going to adjust the position of the oar pin over time to something that's comfortable for your boat and your body. So it goes right in this socket like that, and the short strap goes around under the rear crossbar, and that'll keep you from ever losing a steering oar. But if you want to take it out at any point, it's real quick and easy, just like that. Next, we're going to show you how to put the rig on a hard shell kayak, and just for fun, I'm going to transfer it from one kayak to the other with the frame fully assembled. And this illustrates that, say you had a place by the waterfront and sometimes you wanted to go paddling and sometimes you wanted to go sailing. You can just undo the straps, leave the rig fully assembled like I have here, and put it on the lawn or on the sand, and that would make converting from sailing to paddling real quick and easy. So the only thing that's different about installing the rig on a hard shell kayak is the use of these foam blocks. We got one block for the rear. Sometimes it works best, given the shape of the rear deck of some kayaks, to cut this block. You can just cut it with a kitchen knife in half and then use the two sections. So the whole point is just to support the rig, cushion it, and situate it well on your kayak. So that rear crossbar is going to go into the groove that's cut into the block. So we strap on the rear crossbar the same way we did before. These front foam blocks are quite different. Let's talk about the stabilizer floats next. We have inflatable stabilizers and we've got non-inflatable stabilizers. You just screw the valve into the valve body, undo the cap, and you can blow them by mouth or do it by a pump if you got a pump. The stabilizer pontoons slide into the front crossbar. Same thing on the other side. Here's the non-inflatable type. Very streamlined, but same concept. And of course you'd have one on the other side as well. And let me show you how these fold up. See, this is a lever lock clamp. So I just open that lever, slide it off the top of the post, pull this pin and lay it in that groove and put the pin back in and catch those holes with the pin. So now that's nice and compact and you can put it away like that. And of course, to assemble it, you just reverse the process that I went through.